I guess one of the most quoted statements from Nisargadatta Maharaj is the one that goes, sometimes I feel I am nothing. I call that wisdom. Sometimes I feel I am everything, and I call that love. Between love and wisdom, my life continuously flows. What a great statement that is, because it contains the whole teaching, and it talks about the flowing nature between love and wisdom. Love and wisdom. Two factors that are the one. And I think when we talk about nothingness, I think people frequently get confused. They sometimes get into the peaceful state of meditation or contemplation, and they think that they have achieved nothingness. Of course, this is a nothingness that has a definition. And nothingness with a definition is not the nothingness of which we speak, or which we try to speak. I think that's the important thing, is that we try to speak of nothingness, so people have some understanding, and yet there is no talking about it. There is only being it, only silently being it. But I think there are two meanings to nothingness, and I think one of the most profound meanings to nothingness is that it's an elimination of me, an elimination of the I, that I realize that I am. I come to realize I am, but that I needs to be eliminated as well. And that can be done through a variety of ways. It can certainly be done through meditation. But one of the important ways to do it is through sacrifice. And I mean sacrifice of a very profound kind. A sacrifice that requires you to be accepting, surrendering to everything. When the religious community I was part of was first being founded, the Dean of Lincoln Cathedral asked me to write a rule for it, so we would have an idea of what sort of a life the community was going to be following. And when I came to the part on poverty, I had to think about that very hard, because my partner and I had lived in downtown San Francisco. We had worked in and managed apartment buildings for the poor. We were around the poor. We were around the poor all the time, and we knew what the poor went through, and that was something I wanted to have in the rule, not just giving up of things or limiting one's diet or not eating as much as you might like, but being in a position where maybe you wouldn't get the respect. This is a very difficult thing in a religious community, because people in religious communities, they immediately they put on habits and they become special, and people treat them special, and they lose sight very quickly of what real poverty is. Because poverty can be poverty of spirit, it can be poverty of friends, it can be disrespect. Disrespect of the poor is very common, and it's something that one has to learn to accept if one is to be really talking about sacrifice or surrender. Surrender to any circumstances, and be willing to live with that, what that means. But that's only one side, of course, of nothingness. But to be able to accept that in yourself, that others may think of you in a way that is disrespectful or unkind. And yet, your sense of nothingness is such that you're unaffected by these things. What does it matter? What does it matter, really? And of course, the other side, which is also the same side, is love. Sometimes I feel I am everything, and I call that love. Everything. In order to be everything, you have to be nothing. Because if there's you and there's everything, then there's this divide. And you don't want that divide there. Everything has to mean everything. It has to mean that the walls here, the defenses here, the sensitivities here, the personal story here, all this has to go. It has to be removed, and then once it's removed, then everything else fills in. It's kind of like it's a vessel, and you pour out all that's personal, all that's makes decisions, all that says this is right and this is wrong and this is whatever the divisions are. Because it's the divisions that create the separation. It's like a map. You look at a map, and the more you look at a map, the more you see all these little political divides. And the whole world is made up like that. Only here you are, you're your own little divide, and here is maybe someone who you're very close to. Maybe someone who you're trying to have a relationship with, and yet there they are, and here you are. And what needs to happen is that love, that connection between the two of you, that needs to be what takes prominence. Because whether it's you or God, or whether it's you or your beloved, it's always two. And the thing that binds them is the love that binds them together. And that is what you are, and that is what you need to become. And the love that Nisargadatta is talking about, this, I feel I am everything. And I call that love. This love is something that is wise in itself. The wisdom arises from that love. It's intuition. It's there. It's there all the time. And you need to stop bringing divisions into it and judgments into it. Because it's the divisions, it's the judgments, it's the names, it's these words that I'm using right now. Words are powerful, and they allow us to be together and to talk together. But without them, we can be close. We can be one.